necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with RightPath Real Estate Radio with Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. Election edition. We'll have I think we're going to have an interview tomorrow, but we're 24 hours out from the presidential election. And, of course, all the down-ballot races. One of the things that's kind of crazy about Texas is we vote on just about everything. We have an enormous ballot. So those of you who are on the up and up and all the things that are going on in Texas politics, in your county, in your city, big vote tomorrow. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we did this weekend and how it relates to real estate. This weekend we did a big camp out, big family camp out. We had 3 families, then went to Garner State Park, which is the most popular state park in Texas. I think they recently celebrated their 75th anniversary, so it's an older park. It's out west of San Antonio, so it's about, if you didn't have kids, it'd be a 4-hour drive, but with kids, it's about 5.5, or about 5 hours. So it's a lengthy drive to get out there. We left Friday afternoon, took the kids out of school and went over there and set our campsites up and did all the hiking and running around in the river and all that sort of stuff. And just had a great time. We had some other families with us. The last time we had done this with this many families was like 7 years ago. So everyone was joking, this is a once-in-7-year event. kind of like flooding in certain parts of Texas, right? This is they tell you it's the 100-year floodplain, but it's once every 7 years. So in any case, we had a good time. We were hanging out there, getting to talk a lot about different kinds of stuff. Got to catch up on what everybody's doing for work and business and that sort of thing. And it was just a heck of a lot of fun. And then drove back yesterday. Probably the best part of this whole trip is when we were driving, we got about 10, 15 miles from the park, and boom, just like that, all of our cell phones completely dropped signal. So we didn't have any signal the entire weekend, with exception to 2 events. When we hiked up to one of the vistas there that overlooks one of the larger hills. I won't call them mountains because it's only like 2,000 feet up in the air. But it's got an elevation of like 1,850 feet, something like that. So early in the morning, we walked up to one of these vistas, and Sarah had her phone on. All of a sudden, she gets to the top of the mountain. We start hearing these ding, 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 and all of a sudden, all the text messages we would have been getting the last couple of days popped in, and then. That afternoon, we took a smaller group of folks up on top of Mount Baldy, which is this little, I shouldn't even call it a mountain. It's Hill Baldy, if you will. And again, you finally got cell phone service. So it was kind of nice actually being completely out of touch. It wasn't great for my fantasy football team, but it was nice to be out of reach, if you will. So a couple of fascinating things happened this weekend. I'm sure if everyone's watching all of the things that are going on in politics, it's hard to avoid this at this point because the election is tomorrow. And one of the things I thought when I was sitting out there in the middle of nowhere with the family is that, does any of this stuff really matter? Does any of it really matter? Now, granted, we could have a lengthy debate. There might be 2, if not 4 Supreme Court justices that get replaced. There's a lot of issues with Obamacare. Foreign policy is an absolute mess. I mean, there's all these things that, there are a lot of things riding on this next election. But when you look at what are the things that bring value to your life and to your family, this is probably, the election is really not going to have that big of an impact. I mean, let's just be honest. It's really not. And one of the questions that I get frequently, and I got it this weekend, is how does one build wealth? How does a family build wealth? Tonight we've got our Mastermind group. It's our first meeting with 9 new families that have joined our Mastermind group. So they'll get to see the Mastermind in action. We'll get to talk about, building marketing plans and talking about where they want to go, all that sort of stuff. And we're going to have this constant question: what does it take to build wealth? How much wealth do you want to build? Another fascinating thing happened this weekend is I was driving back Sunday. One of the talk radio shows I listened to, they have a whole litany of financial planning shows that come on Sunday afternoon. And so I was listening to some of these folks, and a gentleman called in, and he had about $1.5 million in a qualified plan. He had another $1.5 million that he had saved up, and he's almost got his house paid off. And he was calling in the show about reverse mortgages. And it was fascinating to me, the questions that the financial planner was asking, that was the host of this radio show. One of the things he asked right off the bat was, aside from how much money do you have, but hey, how old are you? And he said, I'm 73 and I'm about to turn 74. And he hasn't retired yet. He's still working part-time, three-quarter time, if you will, and he really wants to move down to Florida. And my thought in listening to this, here's a guy who's got about $3 million in capital, got a house that's almost paid off. And my first thought was, well, when was the first time you thought it would be a great idea to move down to Florida? Because presumably if that's been 10, 15, 20 years in the making, why hadn't he done it sooner? He spent all this time amassing all this wealth, but in his mind, the place to enjoy it would be in Florida. I think he had said he's got some family down there. There's some other reasons he wanted to move down to Florida. But the thought was, well, why hadn't he done that sooner? One of the things we realized this weekend is we really like doing stuff like this on the weekends. Now, a lot of weekends we're working and we've got, other obligations, but this was a really fun weekend. So then the question is, how often can you do this? Certainly we can do it more than 7 years. And in fact, everyone was getting together and starting to plan the event for next year. But the thought that my wife and I had is, why can't we do this even more often? So then we go back to the question, what does it take to build a certain amount of wealth to where you can live the way that you want to live? And I'll tell you, it comes down to one house. I read a lot of financial news. I read a lot of news about economics. I study the subject. Certainly not an expert in it, but I certainly study it a lot. And with the exception to those that are high wage earners, and if you go back to the example I used earlier, this gentleman that called into the radio show this weekend with a net worth of about $3 million just in retirement accounts and some personal capital, not including all the other assets he owned, the financial planner that was hosting the radio show had mentioned how outside the norm this guy was. Now, of course, he was in his 70s, so that does help a little bit. But you got to think, to have that amount of capital, do you ever really retire? And you look at a lot of those folks that are at that point in their lives, and they just keep working and working and working. And the problem is that you can always make more money, but you can never get back any of that time. So the question is, what does wealth really mean to you? I've had some people tell me, hey, I need $50,000 a month in passive income, and I've heard other people say that I need $5,000 a month in passive income. But where does that all start? What's the right path that we have to go down? There's a reason we named this radio show RightPath Real Estate, because the paths are just about all the same. The difference is how far down that trail you want to go. Maybe $5,000 a month in passive income is enough. In fact, I would imagine it's probably plenty. I mean, the median income in the United States of a two-household income is $45,000 a year. Could you build a portfolio of passive income of $5,000? Absolutely. Then the question I get is, well, Jason, what's the difference between $5,000 and $50,000? Really, it's not anything. It's just the number of assets or the size of the asset that you own that kicks off that much cash flow. There's really no difference. But where does it all start? It all starts with one little house. One house. Buying one at a time. One here, one there, or small multifamily. Starts one at a time. Buy one, then you buy the next one, then you buy the next one, then you buy the next one.
2 minutes.
When we meet tonight for our mastermind group, that's the question we're going to ask. Where is it you're trying to go? Oh, I want to make lots of money. That's not an answer. I'll tell you the biggest challenge in real estate education, and nobody has this discussion, is where do you want to go? Oh, I want to buy 100 houses in a year. Okay, why? I've heard some incredibly lofty goals. Can you meet some of these goals? Absolutely. But you've really got to know why you want to do these things. Then once we figure out the why, how we implement these is pretty easy. Oh, I want to buy a house a month. Or I want to buy 10 houses this year because I'd like $500 a month per house. That'll give me $5,000 a year in income. Or $5,000 a month in income, give you $60,000 a year in income.
1 minute.
That's pretty easy. It's just one house at a time. We buy one now, we buy one the next month. Well, how do you set up a plan to do that? We get back from the break. We'll talk about how you set that plan up, what it looks like from a work standpoint, how do you finance it, fund, and market for those deals. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Mic's off.
Real estate investors, if you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities,
all right, guys,
and the
on
ability
Facebook,
to
how
tap
awesome
into
do I
trillions
sound
of
this
dollars
morning?
for your real estate investing deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening.
I do
for
feel
more
better than I
information,
sound.
call
That's
us
for
at
sure.
1-855-FUN-IRAs or visit our website at questira.com.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior
Ginger,
Loan
did
Officer
you get that
with
second house
Legacy
under
Mutual
contract?
Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497. From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston Beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
The Realty Investment Club of Houston has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Come check us out at richradio.org. If you're considering learning how to invest in real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to learn how to make money in the Houston market. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's R-I-C-H, radio.org.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely
1 minute.
getting by? Making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a large portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020.
All right, stand by.
800-518-4020.
This is Business
Hot mics in
1110.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. Number 713-785-1817. Talking about finding real estate deals, funding real estate deals, marketing for those real estate deals with the intent of, retiring or building a real estate portfolio. Getting some questions on Facebook. I'll get to those in just a minute. We were talking before the break about camping this weekend, and the question I get a lot of is, how do you build wealth in real estate? And you really build it just one house at a time. Buy one house, then we go to the next house, and then the next one. If y'all have listened to a number of our Real Estate Investor Fridays, you will hear from a lot of real estate investors. That's exactly how they started. They just buy one, and then buy another, and another, and another, and they just keep buying, and all of a sudden they look around and they go, hey, I got 40 or 50 of these things now. So like I was meeting with another investor one day, and we were talking about our business, Houston House Buyers, and he said most people don't realize that business is a discipline. And he's absolutely right. You've got to be disciplined to market for those properties. You've got to be disciplined to fund those properties. You've got to discipline to rehab those properties. Rehab them for a flip property, rehab them for a rental property, or possibly wholesale that to another investor. And then turn around and exit those properties, whether that's renting it out, selling it, or selling it to an investor, or selling it at retail. There are steps that you absolutely have to take and have to manage along the process. I always find it fascinating when someone says, I just go out and list my property to the real estate agent. No, there's steps involved in listing a property, how it should be listed, when it should be listed. There are steps in how to manage the receipt of those offers. Heck, even before the offers, there's ways that the property is supposed to be shown. And then how do you vet offers? Because not all offers are the same. And then which offer do you accept? Once you accept an offer, how do you manage each little step to get it to closing? It's not just hey, we got it under contract, it'll close. There's a way to manage every little element of this business. Now, is it hard to do? No. But if you don't do these steps, I guarantee you there's going to be some pain in your future, whether deals bust out, you lose money when you sell it, or it sits on the market a lot longer than you anticipated. And that doesn't matter if you're doing rental properties or flip properties. It's the same deal. Rental properties, when you get the property under contract to buy, you can already start marketing for those tenants. You can already start marketing for those tenants. When I managed rental properties in my personal portfolio, a lot of times by the time the house was in closing on the purchase, we were taking the future tenants' money to closing. I mean, so literally, they were already ready to move in. They were waiting for us to finish the rehab. I mean, we've had contractors that are literally leaving the house as the house is being finished rehabbed, handing the keys to the tenant, and the tenant is moving in the same day. I mean, I would say literally the paint has yet to dry on the inside of the house. I mean, that's how. But if you don't run it like a process like that, you end up with these large gaps in revenue. These large gaps in vacancy. And you can limit a lot of this stuff by really managing these things. Does it take 100 hours a week to do? No. But if you start down this right path, and you do these things systematically, like we do them in our business, which is really important that you work with a team of people who do this every single day. Because what we do in our business is what we teach in our classes on the weekend, is what we talk about in our mastermind class, our mastermind group on Monday nights. It's implementing these things as we go along. And it's incredibly important to do some of these things. So when you get that, how do you get properties under contract? That's one, hey, Jason, there's no deals out there. I hear that every weekend, every networking event. Oh my gosh, there's no real estate deals out there. No, the places you're looking are not producing the deals that you want. Now, does that mean that the places that you're looking are not good places for deals? No. You have to have a marketing and sales strategy. How do I buy houses from a real estate agent, or that are listed with a real estate agent? How do I buy houses from a wholesaler? I can't tell you how many people call me and say, well, there's no deals from wholesalers in my inbox. And I tell them, well, why don't you email that wholesaler back about a month after that deal gets blasted out on their email? And they'll email them back and say, hey, did that house sell? And they'll say, yes, absolutely, it's sold. So does that mean it's a bad deal? No, it just means that you don't know how to work with wholesalers. There's a whole process in working with wholesalers. There's a whole process in working with homeowners. There's a whole process in working with other real estate professionals, attorneys, title companies, that sort of thing. Once you build a process around each one of those marketing channels, you'll find that there are plenty of deals out there. You've got to work, and you've got to spend a little bit of money in marketing, but there are plenty of deals out there. I hear a lot of investors that are listening to these real estate gurus that are selling all these great educational seminars that would work great in 2009 and 2010 when there were foreclosures all over the place. Guess what? There's no foreclosures. In fact, I would make the argument. Now, this is one of those things when Tom and I get up in front of a room, and the invites are already coming in for us to speak at the beginning of the year at a number of different events about what's going to happen in 2017. And we're always the contrarians in the room. Everybody thinks we're crazy until it all comes true. And I can tell you this is one of those areas. I don't think we're ever going to see a foreclosure market like we saw in 2008 and 2009. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, with exception to higher end houses, those houses that wouldn't make good rental properties from a yield standpoint. Now, what does that really mean? So houses above about $200,000 in Houston, those markets I think will go through kind of the traditional real estate ups and downs, that sort of thing. Houses below $200,000, don't think it's going to happen. I got a buddy of mine on Facebook, and if you guys follow me on Facebook, you could certainly follow him. He's just started his second or third hedge fund, and he buys as much real estate in the city of Houston or surrounding areas in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and a couple other markets across the country. He cannot buy houses fast enough. Whenever you look at any market and you want to say, is the market at a peak or is it at a trough? A market is at a trough when cash buyers step in and say, give me all of that at this price. Give me it all of it. That's this idea that if you were to go back to 2008, 2009, when Obama became elected, and we had this big stimulus, we had this enormous bailout of GM, which was questionable legally because it put bankruptcy laws literally on its head. But when the government gets involved, I guess it doesn't matter. When you look at something like GM was not worth zero. Trust me, they're not worth zero. They are absolutely worth something. Even these bankrupt companies are absolutely worth something. Now, when you go through bankruptcy, all you're trying to do is figure out which creditor gets paid and all that other sort of stuff. But the reality is these companies aren't worth zero. Someone will step in. A cash buyer will step in, to use a real estate term. A cash buyer will step in. It's the same thing in real estate, and we're seeing it now. There are so many funds that are getting created every day, and there are so many investors that are coming in the United States, coming into Texas, coming into Houston every single day to buy everything we've got that produces some sort of yield. And I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter who's going to be president, that is going to continue for the foreseeable future, regardless of what interest rates are going to do. There are going to be cash buyers that are stepping in droves. So while all these other real estate investors are sitting on the sideline waiting for the next foreclosure crisis, it's not going to happen. It's not. In fact, a buddy of mine, Scott Carson, put on his Facebook page probably 2 or 3 months ago now that Fannie Mae is actually going out and putting these notes together and selling the non-performing notes, meaning the properties that would otherwise be foreclosed on. They're selling those to investors. So the idea that there's going to be this huge wave of foreclosures in the future and you're going to be able to find single-family real estate at 65 cents on the dollar less repairs is complete fantasy. You need a market just like what happened prior to 2008, and it's not going to happen in any. It might take another 20 years. To be perfectly honest, it might take another 20 years, but there's not going to be this huge rash and round of foreclosures. It's just not going to happen. That's kind of like I go to this annual real estate seminar, and one of my favorite talks is a guy that goes in there and talks about short sales. And short sales will always be there. There'll always be situations where there'll be a short sale. We closed on our first short sale a week ago.
2 minutes.
It's not a viable business strategy for us to go out and buy short sales. So what do you have to do? You've got to get a marketing and sales plan around buying houses that are listed with realtors, buying houses from wholesalers, buying houses from other real estate professionals, buying houses from homeowners. You actually have to run this like a business. That's the crazy thing. Everybody who's whining and crying right now about not being able to find real estate deals are those folks that never had a real estate business. That's just the truth. They never had a real estate business to begin with. They relied on one little strategy, and they didn't have a marketing plan, and they didn't have a sales plan. They just waited for, quote, a deal to show up on MLS. The problem with that is when the market went back to a normal market, mind you, back in 08 and 09, there were 8 to 9 months of inventory on the market.
1 minute.
We're down to what, like 3.5, 3 3/4 inventory on the market right now? I mean, we could have a collapse like 2008, 2009, and it might go to 6 months of inventory on market. It's just, those days are long gone. And if you're waiting for them, you're going to be waiting another 15 years. Or it might not ever happen. We've got institutional investors that have wised up and said, hey, this single-family real estate is a really good deal. We ought to just go in and buy everything we can so we can make 3, 4, 5, 6% of our money. You know, raise money on Wall Street at 3% and make 6%. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. When we get back, we'll talk more about your questions.
Mic's off.
Your questions in my stuffy nose.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
So are you still trading, or is this like something else you got going on?
Oh, no, I'm still trading. I'm doing
investment properties,
I'm doing the 10 o'clock to 2 show. That's why I have to leave.
We manage every aspect of the rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Not
over the last 5 years,
training on that
Fast
show.
Track has completed over 500 projects, which has helped us create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done. Train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right. And complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992. Or on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Join a group of hardworking investors willing to share their knowledge and experience with others. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Discover more at richradio.org. The Realty Investment Club of Houston, the Rich Club, has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Join the Rich Club and become part of the most informed community in Houston. Quickly discover your investment options. Receive the information you need to get started. Learn what it takes to avoid the pitfalls of real estate investment. You have questions? We have answers. If you're considering investments in Houston's real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to join the community and learn how to make money in today's market. Learn more about the education and community at richradio.org. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's RICH radio.org.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Looking for straight answers to your financial questions? Tune in weekday mornings from 8 to 9 for Straight Talk Money, hosted by Mike Robertson. No hype, no infomercials, just plain talk to give you the information you need to make you a better investor.
1 minute, Jason.
We may not be able to control the future, but we can learn to control how it impacts us. Listen to Straight Talk Money, hosted by Mike Robertson, weekdays 8 to 9 a.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Did you know that 63% of homes contain allergens from cockroaches? And that mice spread potent asthma triggers found in 82% of homes? It's true. Common household pests are major offenders on the list of indoor allergens. Learn what you can do to help your family breathe easier. Visit pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
This is Business 1110. All right, sir, your mic is hot right now.
It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. If you want to give us a call, 713-785-1817. It's talking about a little bit about building wealth with real estate. That's the whole idea. I mean, you could flip houses, you can wholesale houses and make a pretty decent living, but the idea is here at some point, if you want to check out and not really work, build a rental portfolio. It's a great way to do it. Or you actually can build a wholesaling and flipping business as long as you're not really working in it every day. All right, let's go down the questions here. Phil says, good morning. What's the best way to take advantage of the W-2 before quitting your job? Best thing to do when you've got a solid W-2 income is buy rental properties. Use Fannie Mae loans to do so. Now, Phil, I know you're up in Seattle, and the lending laws are up there a little different. Last time I was in Seattle, we were chatting about hard money and all that other stuff. You're going to need to get a hold of someone, a mortgage person who understands how to get into long-term Fannie Mae loans. So how these work is that depending on credit and how much capital you've got, you can actually put 10 30-year fixed-rate mortgages in your name for investment properties. These are great. The rates are insanely low. I'd have to call Daryl Dyke over at Noble Mortgage, but I think they're like 5%, 5.25%. They're insanely low. You hold on to them for 30 years. There's some enormous tax advantages with having leveraged real estate in your portfolio. Huge tax advantages there. In fact, since this is the Monday before Tuesday election day, I'll tell you, at least depending on which candidate you select, one will absolutely be increasing taxes on you evil rich people that listen to business radio all day. I mean, let's be honest. You guys actually have some real money. We're the ones that actually have something to risk when it comes down to it. And they're coming after your dollars. Guaranteed. If you guys are watching all the stuff that's happening with Obamacare, they got to get the money from somewhere. Here's the reality. And Tom talked about this on a couple of shows. And I have thought about doing this on tomorrow's show. just Tom and I, or maybe even Wednesday's show, because that'll be day after the election. We do not have an income problem in this country. We have a spending problem, an enormous spending problem. And I don't hear either one of these candidates talking about fixing the spending problem. So reality is that where are they going to get those dollars from? They're going to get them from you or I. One of the things that always made me nervous is when somebody says, well, we're going to run government like a business. Well, I can tell you what my business is, and it's to make money, to make as much money as possible. Government's job is not a job of business to make money. That's not the job of the government. So what's really nice about having a W-2 income is you can get those Fannie Mae loans, really low rate loans that are 30-year fixed loans, or you can do them for 15. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. Depending on how much money you and your spouse makes, you can actually put 10 in your name and 10 in your spouse's name. Now, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's got to go on financially for you to be able to do this. Highly recommend you talk to somebody like Daryl over at Noble Mortgage so that they can get you set up. Just go to their website, noblemoney.com. But in any case, they can help you navigate these things. But while you've got that W-2 income, be able to do that with those assets. I'll tell you what, my wife and I would have done that if the deals weren't so scarce when she and I started. We bought 4 houses pretty quick, and then going into 2010 and 2011, I mean, the deals just dried up. If you are a part-time real estate person and you weren't putting $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and actually a lot of them we saw between $15,000 and $20,000. If you weren't putting $15,000 to $20,000 of cash into each one of these properties, you weren't getting a deal. So you can imagine with 20 of these things, I mean, you can go through $400K in cash pretty quick, and that just wasn't something we wanted to do. So we started Houston House Buyers and sourcing some of our own deals. So that's what I'd highly recommend you do if you were to quit your W-2 job, is go ahead and build up a rental portfolio using those. So let's see. Ginger here asks, my real estate agent said she wants to work with me in a non-agent capacity. What do you think that's about? I have no idea. You have to sit down with her and ask her, hey, what is your idea? What does this look like? If she's talking about partnerships, I'd be very wary of partnerships. Partnerships work best when you have someone who's a 10 at some things and someone who's a 10 at another set of things. You really want to create that, I hate to even say this because it always sounds so goofy, synergy, if you will, which is the whole point. That's what a company is, right? You got some people that are really good at bookkeeping, and you got other people that are really good at engineering. You got good people. You got people that are good at sales. You got other people that are good at marketing. So that's what I would do. Is I'd have a discussion like, hey, not trying to be rude or confrontational, but what is it that you really bring to the table that I can't hire out? That's really the question, right? What is it that you bring to the table that's so much better than if I were to employ somebody to do that? Because it's much easier to pay for somebody as a service than it is to bring someone on as a partner. So that's the conversation I would have with them. One of the biggest mistakes we see in partnerships is people partner up because they're friends. It's like, you're my friend, I'm your friend, let's start a partnership. That's a really bad idea. We also see partnerships where you get two people that are scared to do something, and they think if they partner together, that'll be easier for them to conquer together. And that doesn't work either. You really need, if two people are scared of sales and pick up the phone and talking to sellers, then they'll say, well, let's partner together, and then let's split up the sales calls. You do every other one, I'll do the other one, and that doesn't work either. I mean, you have to have complementary skill sets. They've got to be complementary. They're not equal. Now, this would be a really interesting radio show if we go down this path. But people are actually not equal. They're complementary, meaning you've got a skill set here. The surgeon is really bad at QuickBooks. And the guy that is the guy or gal that's a surgeon should not be answering the phone of their office. They shouldn't be checking the mail. They shouldn't even be checking their own email. They should be doing the surgeries, all those activities directly related to what they do best, and that is being a surgeon. Your business is no different. What you do in your life is no different. You've got to do what you're absolutely best at and leave the rest of that stuff to someone else. That's really Tom and I's job these days. Fire ourselves from certain activities and bring on better people to do those things. We've never been one of those groups that are folks that thought, well, I'm the best at this and I have to do this because I'm the best at. No. Trust me, there's somebody out there that's better than you at the job you're doing in your business. It's one of the biggest mistakes business owners make. Fire yourself immediately from doing stuff. I mean, think about guys at Google. Do you think the guys that are running Google are the best programmers they have at Google? Guarantee you that's not the case. They hire the best folks. Their job is not to program stuff at Google anymore, much like at Apple. Actually, the Ford family. Do you think the Ford family is working on the assembly line? Probably haven't done that in 2 generations. The best thing they can do is sit back and provide the strategic guidance for their company. That's exactly what you need to be doing in your business, even if your business is only buying a handful of properties a year. I had somebody tell me that they really like to go out and look at the job sites and they buy like 5 or 6 houses a year. They really like to go out to the job site to, check in, make sure everything's going well. And I'm like, why are you doing that? It is a complete waste of your time. Why don't you pay a little bit more for a high-quality general contractor like Fast Track Remodeling, who's a sponsor of this show? Why don't you pay a little bit more for a higher-quality contractor and go buy 2 or 3 more deals this year? Because I guarantee you'll make more money buying two or three more deals this year than you ever will managing a bunch of subcontractors. Another one of my favorites is, I need to take this class on QuickBooks. No, you don't. You need to take a class on being better at marketing and sales so you can buy more deals and let somebody else who's good at bookkeeping manage your books. It's amazing to me how much more money, how much more wealth people could accumulate if they got rid of the stuff out of their lives and their business lives that they should not be doing. Get rid of that stuff immediately. There's no reason for you to do your books. There's no reason for you to be supervising the job site. In fact, we've just recently jettisoned all of our rental properties to a property management company. We sent it all over to Jerry Taw Property Care, who's a sponsor of the show. Jerry, you're better at it than we are managing it. Here you go, buddy. Have at it. That's one less thing we've got to do. We're just going to end up buying more houses. That's the whole point. The whole point is, what am I best at? Marketing and sales. And actually, Scott Carson came to our weekend retreat, and I said, hey, man, why don't you come up here and just give a few words?
2 minutes.
I didn't know what he was going to talk about. And he probably spent half of his time talking about how, hate to tell you, folks, you're not in real estate, you're in a marketing and sales organization, which is one of the things I say all the time. You are in a marketing and sales organization. If you want outsized returns, if you want larger returns on your capital, meaning outside of the equity markets, outside the traditional capital markets, you're going to have to do something for that return. It's not shoveling paper from one side of the desk to the other. That's not going to do it. You're going to have to build a little business. You want 20, 30, 40, 50, 100% rates of return? Guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to build a little business. You're going to have to work for it. Now, I'll tell you the work is worth it. However, if you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to be successful. I hate to tell you guys that, but if you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to be successful. It's that simple. If you're not going to put in the time and money in marketing, if you're not going to put in the time and money in sales, if you're not going to put the time and money on the operation side of your business, I can guarantee 100% failure every single time. I go to networking events, I don't know how many times a month, and I ask people, how many houses did you buy last month? 0. How many did you buy the quarter before? 0. How many did you buy the last 2 years? 0. Because they've got the wrong path. In other words, they don't know where they want to go, but they're also not spending time in marketing and sales. We get back from the break. I'll answer some more questions. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Rehab loans, conventional loans, FHA, and no-income documentation loans can seem scary unless you have the right mortgage company to guide you through the process. Since 2003, Noble Mortgage has been helping investors just like you. Whether rehabbing houses, buying your first home, rental, or commercial property, Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing. Call Noble Mortgage at 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
The Realty Investment Club of Houston has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Come check us out at richradio.org. If you're considering learning how to invest in real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to learn how to make money in the Houston market. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's RICH, radio.org.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
Are you a realtor or seller that is concerned about the new TRID rules and closing on time? I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer at Legacy Mutual Mortgage, and we have mastered the 30-day close. We close on time, accurately, and with tons of communication. You'll have a dedicated team of a coordinator and a contract-to-close associate. Give me a call today at 713-579-3611, and let's talk about how we can help you on your next transaction.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, NMLS 514497.
It's long, over 1,000 chapters, over 30,000 verses. No wonder so many of us have
Sorry,
never
I was
read
a little
it
off
cover
on
to
that.
cover.
Now
Want
it's
to
a
do
minute.
it? Want to read the entire Bible? Start today at BibleStudyTools.com. BibleStudyTools.com includes Bible in a Year, an interactive plan for reading, learning, and understanding the Bible. Deepen your faith and impact your
It's
walk
nice
with
that
God.
they wrote a
One
book
day at a time.
explaining
Bible in
you
a
that
Year,
they're talking
just one
about
of the
right
new
now on the
interactive
radio.
Bible study tools at BibleStudyTools.com.
If you're using drugs or are addicted to pills or alcohol, you need help. You know that your addiction is harming your life, your job opportunities, and most importantly, your loved ones. That's where we come in. The Kick Addiction Network specializes in getting you the help you need to beat addiction. Our network of treatment specialists can help you get clean and have the experience and track records to show for it. And if you're struggling with addiction and have private insurance, your help may be fully covered. Give us a call 24/7 at 1-800-KICK-ADDICTION. That's 1-800-KICK-ADDICTION.
This is all right, sir. Your mic is hot right now.
Okay. Welcome back. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. If you want to call in 713-785-1817. Talking about building a little wealth. You know, on Facebook, I put this as the election edition. Haven't really talked about the election yet. I'm really just, I don't know. It's just this whole freak show. I don't know what to say anymore. And here's the actually, I think here's the problem. I'm making a comment right now on Facebook is that we knew the government was kind of corrupt, but I had no idea how in the tank the media was. I mean, it's just, if you guys read through any of these emails, it's amazing. It really is. It's incredible. So I'm going to go back to a couple of the questions here. Nikki, who zipped out of our studio, said that we've got a listener that's listening but didn't want to get on the radio with me. And he said, hey, when's the next seminar? Our next weekend retreat is January 20th. We have not put it up yet for y'all to sign up for. I've already gotten a couple of emails, people asking. We'll wait till it's a little bit closer. But January 20th, that weekend, will be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is the weekend after MLK. So we were trying to find a good weekend that wasn't going to interfere with anybody's weekend plans. So January 20th, 21st, 22nd. Tom and I are flirting with the idea right now of putting on a free event in November and another one in December. I'm going to be speaking at 2 Noble Mortgage events. I believe one's in December, another one's in January, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll announce those as those dates come out and where we will be. But we have talked about putting on, one of these kind of free classes in November, and more than likely, I know we'll do one in December. But we haven't put them on the books yet. So y'all can come out and see us for free for a few hours and sit there and take in what we talk about and what we teach. What we talk about might be for you, it might not, but it's a good way to kind of test drive us and see if spending your weekend is going to be worthwhile, at least worth your time. So in any case, next weekend event is January 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We've also got a whole bunch of stuff we're rolling out in 2017. It's really exciting. We're working with a lot of folks around town. So 2017 for RightPath Real Estate is going to be really neat. Our intent with RightPath is to build kind of a country club, if you will, for real estate entrepreneurs. People who want to lend in real estate, people who want to do notes, buying whole properties, wholesale, flip, all that kind of stuff. So be looking more for that here in the next couple of weeks. So January 20th, 21st, and 22nd, that'll be our next event. We'll probably be in the same place there, which is in Memorial City Center at I-10 and the Beltway. It's great for y'all that fly in out of town. You just pick one of the airports. It's about halfway between both of them. You stay there the entire weekend. Really great accommodations. Hotels next door is fantastic. So just a really fun event. So I think I've gone through all the questions. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. You can sign up for updates on our website, rightpathrealestate.com. Tom will be in studio tomorrow. So see you guys. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to RightPath Real Estate Radio. Find Jason and Tom at rightpathrealestate.com. You can